Hey Doc, what you got going there?
Well, right now I'm sharpening the knife, getting it prepared so that it'll cut the bait good. One of the biggest mistakes the fishermen will make is they just won't cut the bait with a sharp enough slice to keep that spin tight. And it's real important that your knives are sharp. And so I'm just kind of dressing it up a little bit here, getting ready to make my first cut on this bait. I'm using a bait that's approximately 5 inches long, and it's real fresh. It's important that when you select your bait, whether it be frozen or live in some cases, you want to look at the eyes to make sure that they're not red. You've heard the slogan, the red herring. Well, when it gets to looking like that, it's not very good, and chances are it won't spin correctly in the water. And so it's important that take the time, get good fresh bait. Now, here's a tip too. On these bags, they come, now today's technology, they're vacuum packed. Well, because they're vacuum packed, it's 14.7 psi. That's what's keeping us to the earth. And when it's vacuum packed, the pressure is greater on the outside, and it'll just squish all the guts out of the herring. So when you first get this, and you're going to fish that day, open up the package and allow the air to circulate around it so that you won't end up...
Come back, you bet.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be all squished blood everywhere, you know. So we're going to make this first cut, and it's important that in this area, you want to use that membrane, because that's going to help keep the bait from flaring out. So I'm going to just take the knife here very slowly, just kind of saw at a good angle. And you don't need to do it fast. You just need to have a good...
Yeah, so you have a good clean cut on it.
Yeah, see how clean that cut is? And that's because the knife's sharp.
That's it.
Yep. Now, you can get the guts out. There's a couple of ways. You can pinch it or pull them out or however you want to do it. The thing that I like to do at this point is, now that I have the cut here, I take the point of the knife and I insert it in the anal area of the herring, and I just slowly open it up. What that does is actually two things. It allows the water to go through the bait and put scent out into the water trailing behind it, and it also keeps this belly area right here from actually bubbling out, because the water gets trapped in there and it can't flow through the bait. So it actually does two things: scent, and keeps the bait from
blowing out.
That's right, exactly. Now, another thing that I like to do is cut the tail of the herring off. Now, the reason I do that is twofold. One is to tighten up the spin, because you want a real tight spin.
Yeah, you do.
And the other thing is, I don't like the tip of the hook to get caught into the flesh of the bait, because when they bite, that's generally one of the hooks that are going to help you get the fish. And if it's buried already, of course, it's fish on, you lose it.
That's it. Yeah.
And we know that. And we know that feeling.
Yeah, I'm losing those fish.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's real important that you have a sharp knife, open up the belly, cut the tail. Now let's rig this. Now I like to use large hooks. It's one of my favorite things about fishing out here. I believe that big hooks can catch big fish, right? It only makes sense, right? Exactly. Yep. So I'm using 2 hooks in this setup, and they're both Eagle Claw laser sharp hooks. Now, the important thing to remember about hooks themselves is that they have to be sharp. And the way that you sharpen the hook up here is I use sandpaper. And I just lightly rub the tip of the hook in a circle of motion so that it makes like a needle. And when you touch it on your nail, even though this is a laser sharp hook, I can make it a little bit sharper by using the wet and dry sandpaper.
That is a special sandpaper.
Right. Now this is a nickel plated hook, because we don't want to use stainless steel, because if you happen to lose the fish, well, a couple of days, it'll be gone, because it'll just rust out.
Rust away,
Right, so this is a nickel-plated hook. And for you fishermen out there that are just getting started, this is called a 5/0, and the number of it is an L182FS, and it's a salmon 5/0. Okay.
Good-looking hooks.
Yeah. Now, in years past, they use a black hook in here. I know it's one of your tricks
Oh,
too.
Man, that's my favorite.
Yeah. And so if you're going to use a black hook, laser sharp again, that number is an L194FS. So when you're at the store, these numbers will play an important role in buying the proper hook, because how many times have you gone to a sporting store and they're just massive hooks?
There's hundreds of them
right.
out there, hundreds.
Exactly. Yeah. So by giving these guys the numbers, they'll be able to get the proper hook. Now let's rig this. On the high side of the cut, I can hear old Roy telling me this now.
Roy.
Yeah, Roy Huntington, old timer out here, on the high side of the cut.
Let's see what Roy has to say.
Put it right in here along the backbone, staying on the high side of the cut, right there. And of course, state law requires that when fishing for salmon, you need to use a barbless hook. And we've talked about that in other videos. So this is a barbless hook. Now this hook, depending upon boat speed, is critical. Whether you A, sink it into the side of the herring so it sits in this position, up in here, or B, you just let it trail behind the bait. If you let it trail loosely like this, then you can have a faster boat speed because the hook actually helps slow it down a little bit. If you tuck it into the body cavity like I'm going to do now, you want to come, don't get tangled up in the top hook that's in there already, but you want to come right up into here and kind of slow. Boy, this is some nice bait. You know, fresh bait is so important when doing this because it just rips out on you. And put your thumb right here on the skin, because you're going to pull this fishing line through here. Now this is a copolymer line, by the way, that I'm using by McCoy.
That's pretty heavy line.
Yeah, it is. It's 50-pound test. And I've found over the years using a heavier leader gets the fish in the boat, because when the lighter leaders, they get between their teeth and it works like a dental floss.
Clean them out.
Yeah, and you're into the bite, you got a nice fish, light leader, and then gone, because actually he bit through the leader. So by using a heavier leader, they don't bite through it as easy. Plus, it gives a better spin to the bait because it keeps everything in line. And you showed me that with that rudder that you use.
Oh, man.
I know, see? And that rudder is a good thing to use. So anyway, back to this. Okay, so we got a big bumper tie knot here. We're going to just slip it through.
Give a little support.
Right, and work it in.
There you are.
Now that will hang just like that. Okay. And I sometimes, see how the point of the hook wants to kind of get into the bait already? Yes. I'm not even fishing with it. See the way it's sitting there? So what I like to do, this is called a bumper tie. And a bumper tie, you can loosen the webbing just a little bit onto the knot to change the direction the way the hook's facing in the leader.
Spin that hook around.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's real important that you do that. The knot that I'm using is called a bumper tie. The cut of the bait is called a cut plug herring.
Very popular.
Yeah. And it has a fast, tight, snappy action.
Boy, that's what you want too. You want that fast spin.
Right. And if I stuck this in front of my underwater camera, matter of fact, I think we could do that, you know, through the magic of video.
Yeah, let's watch.
Okay, watch this. Check this out. You see, we have an edge here that we can cut. We have another mark right here, another mark right here, and one right here. The more angle you put in your bait, the slower your boat speed can be to obtain the fastest spin. If I was in a little outboard, let's say a 12-foot boat like my Sorensen, and I was trolling, I would go ahead and I would cut my bait at this angle right here. If I was in a little larger boat with a little bigger outboard, or a big boat like Roland, see this angle here? I would then come out here and make my cut so it's square. The most critical part of this whole combination of your cuts and making your fillets is that you need to be consistent and sitting next to this herring jig are 3 templates of assorted sizes that when I make my strips, I'm able to lay these templates on top of them, trim them out with my scissors, and thus I'm very consistent in the way that I rig my gear. The first hookup we're going to go with is called the Gus Arcady cut, taught to me by Tom Walls. He believes in fishing with strips, small pieces of herring or large pieces of herring, but taken directly from the side of the bait. Now, if Tom was demonstrating this cut to you, he would cut it across here, come down into a V here, How many pounds is